I'm about to try something that I've never tried before, and that's climbing up to one of these mountains in the Canadian Rockies and camping overnight. But it's turning out that it might be a very dangerous endeavor. I'm a little bit worried because it's only September 19th, but it's already starting to snow up there. The temperatures in the middle of the afternoon right now are just above freezing, and it's only gonna get colder, and it's supposed to continue to rain and probably snow up there for the rest of the day. We've made it up the first little bit of elevation here. You can see the highway down there and then my little Subaru. These are some of the most dangerous conditions that you can go hiking and backpacking in. I find that it's way scarier to go when it's raining and around freezing than when it's minus 20, minus 30 degrees Celsius. And that's because you have the double danger of everything being wet, but then also it being really cold out. And when those two things combine, that's when you get into dangerous situations. And that's on top of all the difficulties of camping on top of a mountain, even if it's good weather. So I'm starting to get a little bit worried. We hit the snow line here and it's snowing pretty good. I'm also really cold. I was sweating a ton coming up the mountain because it's basically straight up, and I'm wet because of the rain, and that was one of the big things I was worried about, getting wet, getting cold, and then not being able to warm up. So hopefully we can get to the top where we're gonna be camping and then get set up, get changed into some dry clothes and warm up a little bit. So as I get to the top of the mountain here and start looking for a campsite, there's a few things that I need to be considering. One of them is that I'm in the Canadian Rockies on top of a mountain, so everything is really rocky. There's not a lot of soil up here, and I did bring a trekking pole tent, so that's gonna be tough, trying to get some stakes into the ground. The other thing is that the wind is starting to pick up. It's coming from the north, and I wanna make sure that I'm finding a spot that's sheltered. On top of these mountains, it's really exposed, but I wanna have some sort of tree cover or a rock outcropping in order to break the wind so I'm not freezing cold later tonight, because I think the wind's gonna be pummeling this mountain, and if I'm exposed to that, then I'm gonna get really cold real quick. It's snowing a bit. I just got my sleep system and all my clothing and everything inside the tent. So I'm gonna change into that and then hopefully warm up a little bit and then come out here and it'll be dinner time. See how easy it is to make dinner in a blizzard. It's pretty crazy camping on top of this mountain. I got out of my tent, I was like, where am I? There's clouds coming out of the valley, there's snow everywhere. It's pretty cool. One of the things with camping on top of a mountain is that there's no water. I could melt snow right now, but I didn't really expect snow to be here. So what I did was I brought this WaterCell water bladder from Sea to Summit. It has 6 liters capacity and it's shaped really nicely so it fits inside of a pack. And this is more than enough water for the 2 days that I'll be out here for drinking as well as cooking. I'm pretty excited for the sleep system that I'm going to be trying out tonight. I've never used this combination before. For my sleeping pad, I have the Sea to Summit Etherlite XT Extreme. So really high R value for these colder temperatures. And then I'm using the Zenbivy Light sleeping quilt / sleeping bag. So this is a really kind of innovative and cool system that has all the benefits of a quilt, but then has it really locked down like a sleeping bag. And then I have the Nemo Philo pillow in there, which is just a super comfortable pillow and fits right nicely into the hood of the Zenbivy. Things are going better than I expected. I'm optimistic that I'm gonna be able to make it through the night, no problem. I was a little bit wary as I was kind of getting started with the rain and then getting up here and it blizzarding so heavy. I thought I was gonna be in for a pretty miserable night, but things are turning around and it's looking pretty good. Luckily, the wind kind of died down because I am pretty exposed. I'm literally on top of a mountain right now. I have a couple little trees kind of scattered around me in order to help block the wind. But the main reason why I chose this tent spot was because it was one of the few flat spots up here. but also because the way the trees are situated, I could actually tie my guy lines for my tent to those if the ground was too rocky. But luckily enough, there's enough soil that I was able to hammer my stakes into the ground. I'm using very good stakes, so I'm able to hammer them in without them bending. If I was using crappier stakes, they probably wouldn't be holding up quite as well. But I did have that backup plan with the trees on the outsides if I needed it. I'm gonna take this kind of lull right now to get my dinner ready and eat, because the forecast for today was more rain / snow, I guess, and more wind, so it might get a little bit more blizzardy. I'm gonna have to batten down my tent quite a bit more. I am a little bit wary of how loose the soil is, so I'm gonna get some rocks, put them on top of the stakes just to lock it down, because I think right now if the wind really picked up, I am so exposed here that my tent is gonna blow down really easily. I did bring an ultralight cook system because of how much weight I was carrying. So got my BRS 3000 stove and then my ultralight Toaks pot here, and gonna get dinner going. Not completely on flat ground, but we'll keep an eye on it. Should be okay. I did bring my earth stack. We're still in bear country. We're in the mountains. The bears haven't gotten to hibernation yet, so I'm gonna be hanging up all my food on a tree using the earth stack somewhere far away from my camp so that the bears aren't gonna be attracted to my tent area. And if they do get at the bay, they're not gonna get a reward with the food inside of it. For my meals, I have one of my all-time favorites from Bushka's Kitchen. This is the Hunter's Pie. This is just super yummy meal, really excited to have it. And in line with kind of the dinner aspect and what's going to be happening later after the dinner is, what do you do when you need to go to the bathroom on top of a mountain? Going number one, easy enough, but going number two is definitely more of a difficult challenge, especially when you're in a very rocky area like this. But I'll let you guys know a little bit later how I am going to address that, because I am very regular, and tomorrow morning we're definitely going to have game time. So tomorrow morning, the way I'm gonna be going number two is by using a wag bag. So this is a bag that opens up and then you poop into it and then you carry that poop out with you. That's the best way when you're in alpine environments like this to get rid of your waste. The other option is to take your poop and then you smear it very thinly over a rock, and then the UV rays from the sun will decontaminate all that poop. But this is a pretty popular area on weekends, and I don't want a kid walking on this trail and trying to eat this chocolate rock that they found. So you may be asking yourself, why, Justin, are you out camping on top of a mountain? And I almost didn't do this trip. I didn't want it to be another challenge video that you see all over YouTube where someone's trying to do the next craziest thing. That's not why I'm out in the backcountry. I do like trying new things. I've never camped on top of a mountain before, but I also like to challenge myself and build my skill sets. And with this trip in particular, I really was intrigued by the aspects of leave no trace, not having any water on top of a mountain, and then being in a really exposed location with some pretty bad weather that could potentially roll in. I really like the idea of having those obstacles and then having to look at them, plan for them, and solve them as I'm planning for the trip, and then get out here and put those skills and that plan into practice and see how I do. It's starting to get dark, so I'm gonna wind down and head to bed. We'll see whether we get more snow overnight. I might wake up buried under a foot of snow, or the wind might pick up and my tent might get blown over. I'll check in tomorrow and let you guys know how it went. Good morning. All packed up, had my morning poop. I do like pooping into a wag bag. I find it's just a nice little contained system, and it's really nice that I know I'm not leaving behind my poop somewhere in the backcountry for someone else to discover. So wag bags definitely for the win. It is really cold this morning. Last night it got down to a -8 degrees Celsius, or just about below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was quite cold. Luckily the wind did not pick up and it didn't snow anymore. So I was able to stay nice and toasty in my sleep system. If it had been really windy, I was so exposed up here that I probably would have gotten quite cold, even with the sleep system and extra layers that I had. So luckily that turned out okay. I'm gonna take my time up here, really enjoy these views. This might be the most beautiful place that I've ever woken up. I basically look anywhere and I have beautiful views. So I'm gonna just take that in because this is one of those experiences that you really just have to treasure. If you guys want to see another trip video where I kind of push my limits and my skills by taking on multi-days of rain on the West Coast Trail out on Vancouver Island, go check out this video right up there. It was pretty intense. On that trip, my tent did almost get blown over. One of the stakes got pulled out of the ground. It was quite an experience. So hopefully you enjoy that video, and I'll see you guys next time.